I'd say depression is like gravity in the sense that it's a force that's constantly with you and constantly has its effect on you, but it's always kind of redirecting your thoughts and your feelings into a more negative space.
Today we're going to share personal stories about depression from real teens who found hope. Depression is a common mood disorder with specific changes in moods, thoughts, and behaviors.
Depression is very isolating. It makes you feel very alone and disconnected from people around you. It also feels really hopeless. Like, I just remember for me, I felt like it was not going to end, and I felt like there wasn't really a way to get out of it.
I used to think that when someone was depressed, it was because they were not mentally strong enough, you know? But then I realized that is so wrong. There's always this message for boys, Latinos, man, that, oh, tienes que ser el hombre de la casa, tienes que ser el que tiene los pantalones puestos. That goes against being a human, has emotions, has feelings. We all feel, and my message is, allow yourself to feel.
Depression is like a big sinking feeling, at least for me. When I'm really depressed, I'm just really self-defeating. The majority of the people around me probably didn't know that I had depression, or they probably didn't know that I was that way, because I just tried to be the light of everybody's day. I would say the people that it affected the most were my mom and my dad. They were the ones that saw me when I was exhausted from the day of trying to pretend.
I've had depression my entire life. Both my depression and my gender identity are things that are within my first memories, and they're things that come up in all of my significant memories over my lifetime. Your body looks wrong to you. It doesn't mean your body is wrong, it just means it looks wrong to what you're expecting it to be.
So I grew up with a parent that suffered from depression. With my first experience with depression, my family dynamics changed. My dad had to go away, and it was something that I wasn't used to. I was very close to my dad.
I mean, I always wanted to be the best when it came to sports, school, everything. So I always felt the need to always be better and do better. Always be overwhelmed, I guess, because I'd always be trying to do the most, and because of that, I created lots of anxiety for myself. And because of all the anxiety building up, it really led to me being just too overwhelmed and leading towards my depression, I would say.
Depression can be short-lived to long-lasting, mild to severe, a one-time episode, or on and off throughout a lifetime. Roughly 15 to 20% of young people will experience an episode of depression before they reach adulthood. Most will experience mild or moderate depression. From time to time, everyone feels sad, angry, or moody. That doesn't mean you have depression. Only a mental health professional can diagnose depression. Depression's when you have at least 5 symptoms present every day for 2 weeks or more. These symptoms should be a change from what is normal for you and include sadness, anger, or moodiness, loss of interest or pleasure in favorite activities, change in appetite or weight, sleeping too much or too little, restlessness or sluggishness, extreme tiredness, trouble making decisions or focusing, feelings of worthlessness or guilt, thoughts of suicide or self-harm. It's important to recognize that depression can look different in different people. Some warning signs of depression may include abuse of drugs or alcohol, problems in school or relationships, aches and pains, running away, self-harm, and not caring about your appearance. Depression can happen to anyone, anywhere. There's not one reason someone has depression.
My depression comes from dealing with some things with peers and some struggles there, and then some struggles with my family. For a long time, my parents' divorce was really a main factor of my depression, just because I felt like I had to kind of be an item and be going back and forth between house to house, and one thing was like, mom said this, but dad said this. Having my parents argue and feeling like I was kind of getting caught in the middle, I kind of feel like a part of my value as a person was sort of lost in that. That was really hard to deal with for a long time.
I come from Mexico City, el sur de la Ciudad de Mexico. The hardest part for me about coming into the US was leaving my mom and my grandma and my dog behind, I must say. Because they are the ones that know me the best. At first, I was like, no, I'm cool, I'm good. But in reality, I did know I was struggling with something, you know?
When I really became depressed around my freshman year of high school, and after like a really bad like day, my dad like kind of like sat down and like really told me like what his depression was like. And then I never really knew how it impacted him. His parents, they're immigrated from Korea, really high standards when it comes to academics, being the absolute best when it comes to schoolwork as possible. It's the only thing they cared about. So his depression stemmed a lot off of that. It definitely makes me feel better, I would say, because it gives me more reason to not blame myself, because if it is in genetics, it's something that I can't control.
My experience with community violence was definitely heartbreaking. I think that's what started me like going down in the spiral, because it was something that I just didn't understand. I couldn't put an answer to. With community violence, it could be upsetting because you don't know why this is happening. Like, this person is gone for forever and I'm not going to see them again. And they're going for something so stupid and so senseless.
My depression comes from a high pressure community. My depression comes from my struggles with my gender identity. You know, having depression and being transgender are both things that kind of forced me to grow up a lot. I don't think I would have learned how resilient I'm capable of being, and I don't think I would have learned how to cope with stress in general.
A number of things can put a person at a higher risk for depression, including a family history of depression, having an emotionally sensitive personality, an ongoing medical condition, anxiety disorder, or substance abuse disorder, poor health due to not getting enough exercise, sleep, or food, a stressful event, trauma, or big change in your past or present, such as being bullied, feeling unaccepted or discriminated against, a stressful, dangerous, or unreliable community, school, or home environment, loss of a loved one, or ending of an important relationship. You may recognize some of these factors in yourself. However, simply having these experiences doesn't mean you have or will have depression. Life circumstances can play a big role in causing depression, including circumstances over which we have little control. Nevertheless, it's important to remember that we do have choices in life, and that it's often possible to draw meaning and strength from even negative experiences. Depression can get better, and you can find support. If you think you have depression, talking to a trusted adult is the first step.
For me, getting help, first of all, telling my mom that I was feeling different, you know, accepting what I was feeling. So that's when she said, I knew it, I told you. That's good that you came up to me. My coach, he was like a mentor kind of thing, like a father I never had, kind of. He noticed that I was not as sharp mentally.
A trusted adult can include anyone from a parent to an adult family member, family friend, coach, teacher, religious leader, mentor, social worker, or counselor. Asking for help can feel overwhelming, but most people feel greatly relieved once they start this process. Not every adult will be comfortable with this conversation or know what to suggest. Some adults' personal or cultural beliefs about depression may even make it difficult for them to connect you with help. If necessary, keep talking to different adults in your life until you find someone who understands and can get you connected with the help you need and deserve. Talking about depression and asking for help is a sign of maturity and takes a lot of courage. When you talk to a trusted adult, they might suggest you meet with a therapist, a social worker, counselor, or psychologist, either at your school or in your community. A therapist can help you figure out the best course of action and provide you with support, advice, and skills to help you better manage your depression. During therapy, additional support may be recommended, like group therapy, family therapy, or medication.
My mom chose a therapist for me. I didn't look for it, so I had faith and trust in my mom. So I knew she would make a right choice. The first sessions were just like, how are you? Like basic stuff like, what is your name? What do you like to do? Getting to know me. After a while, that's when I really started opening up in truly, I guess, the core of my depression.
What is said between you and your therapist is kept private, unless they're worried about your safety or someone else's safety. Sometimes you might need to see a couple of different therapists before finding the person whose personality and style is right for you.
Every time I've had a therapist, I've just treated it as a little talk session with a friend, I guess, that's an adult. I mean, even in my healthiest times, I'll see a therapist just because it's nice to be able to talk to someone just about anything that's going on, really.
Therapy is just the way that it's non-judgmental. It's like hearing it from her, it sounds so much better than hearing it from a family member because I know there's no bias. I was just so addicted to like being able to express myself and just getting off my chest. Like I didn't want to hold in those feelings anymore.
Sometimes talk therapy can be expensive, or it may be hard to find in your area. Someone at school, like a nurse, counselor, or social worker, may be able to connect you with either free or reduced fee mental health care in your community or virtual support. Other places you may find support in your area can be your local community center, church, temple, or mosque. To find out more information about depression and Erica's Lighthouse, go to www.ericaslighthouse.org. If you or someone you know is in immediate risk of harm, call 911. If you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts and can't find a trusted adult to talk to, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Or text the Crisis Text Line by texting LISTEN to 741-741.